So I want to talk to you guys about how to be more productive as a man, how to walk in your purpose consistently, and not be so distracted on a day-to-day basis. Because there are practical things that we can do in order to fulfill our purpose in life. Now we're going to build this foundation on Ecclesiastes 11:4 through 6. Whether you believe in Christianity or not, these are some good tools that will help you get better and level up as a man. So let's just start with verse 4. It says here, farmers who wait for perfect weather never plant. So let's just stop there for a moment. What does that mean? Well, if you're waiting for the right opportunity to start a business, to work on a craft, or maybe you want to be a musician or start a YouTube page or start a podcast, you're constantly talking about it, but you make excuses because you say, I don't have enough time in the day, I don't have the right equipment, and I'm not going to be able to get this done because I'm too busy. The reality is, if you keep making excuses, it's never going to happen. You have to just take the first step and take some action, because if you don't, you'll never see it come into fruition. Because if you keep waiting for your life to line up where everything has to be perfect, then it will never get done. And then it goes on to say, if they watch every cloud, they never harvest. So, what do they mean by watching every cloud and never harvesting? Well, think about what we have in front of us today. We have cell phones, tablets, computers, TVs. And what's one of the first things that we like to do when we get off work? We want to relax. So, we go and watch television. We watch our favorite shows. We stream things. We binge watch stuff on Netflix, Max, on Amazon, and the list goes on. I'm not saying these things are bad, but if they are used in a way where it makes us lazy and unproductive, then we're never going to harvest. We're never going to walk in our purpose. We're never going to fulfill what God gave us. So let me give you a really good example here. Let's just say you have a desire or a passion for podcasting, but you don't want to take the time out of your day to record, to produce, to edit, because that's too much work. You would rather listen to content on how to get started, or you would rather watch television shows, you would rather talk about what's going on in the news, or you watch productive stuff, but the problem is you're not taking any action. You see, if we're not careful, we're going to be constantly watching what's going on around us and not taking enough action with the things we care about. So if you have a skill set that you enjoy, that you want to build, well, you got to plant some seeds. You got to spend the time out of your 9 to 5 life, if you're in that lifestyle, and pick those blocks of time to work on things which you care about. And if you're on the internet, scrolling social media, watching every political debate going on, or you're just streaming movies and you're not really focused, then you're not going to be planting. A lot of that goes on in our society today where people do tons of things like they're researching stuff. And I'm not against these things. Let me be clear. I'm not against you enjoying your life and relaxing and keeping up to date with current events. But if it gets to a point where it takes your focus away from your purpose, then you're going to be less productive. What do you notice with the top 1% of people? They are laser focused. What do you notice in sports when it comes to basketball players, football, baseball? They spent their entire life becoming a pro. You don't become a master of something overnight. You have to make those deposits day in and day out. Now, if you have a 9 to 5 like me, where I sell Medicare, I've been doing it for 3 years. And when I first got into this industry, the first year was really good. They have this event called the annual enrollment period. It starts October 15th, ends on December 7th. It's where you're going to get the most sales. And I felt really good about what I did, and I had a great first year. But summertime came around, and at this moment in my life, I was just struggling, trying to figure out what should I be doing outside my 9 to 5. I had a desire for recording, I had a desire for creating content. But when it came to YouTube, I kept making excuses. So I was distracted by streaming movies, video games, and I just wasn't productive enough. I made excuses. I was the one watching every cloud, not harvesting. So, what happened? Well, I come back from vacation with my wife, and I found out I was part of a massive layoff. And it was devastating at the time because that was my only source of income. Yeah, I did Uber and stuff like that, but something was missing here. And I realized at that point, I need to do something with my life outside of just selling Medicare products. So I started a YouTube page. And what happened after that? Well, I'm almost at 1,200 subscribers. I have another basketball channel, which is over 600 subscribers. If I didn't get started and started planting, I wouldn't be in this position right now. This was 2 years ago. Now, have my channels been monetized yet? No. But what I'm trying to get at is if I decided not to plant seeds and just start from ground zero, I wouldn't have all this equipment I have right now. If you're waiting for the right opportunity, it's never going to happen. Let's get into verse 5 and 6. Just as you cannot understand the path of the wind or the mystery of a tiny baby growing in its mother's womb, so you cannot understand the activity of God who does all things. Plant your seed in the morning and keep busy all afternoon, for you don't know if profit will come from one activity or another, or maybe both. So, what it's saying here is that stay busy, stay occupied as a man. Men love to produce. That's how we were designed. We love to go out there and take on challenges and accomplish things. But if we're part of the crowd who is watching things happen and not taking action and not writing down our goals and being intentional with our 24 hours, then it's not going to get done. We're going to be sitting on the sideline doing nothing, and we're going to be constantly watching and observing the wind. You have to get in the game. You can't just sit on the bench and just wait for your opportunity to come. You got to let your coach know, hey, I deserve to play. Put me in, coach. I can contribute. That's the mentality you got to have with life when it comes to your purpose and the things you desire. You got to tell yourself, I need to get in the game right now. Because if I don't, then life is going to go by so fast. And I'm going to look back at those years where I made excuses and I'm going to live in regret. So, how can we get to a point where we can be more productive? Well, I would suggest eliminating distractions like stuff on your cell phone. Maybe you got Max, Disney Plus, or just streaming stuff. I'm not saying these are wrong things to use. Maybe delete them off your phone. Maybe have a tablet, which I have here. This is only meant for work only. That's it. I don't try to watch anything else. Sure, I might casually watch some YouTube content just to get some ideas or just to relax for a little bit. That's fine. But at the end of the day, this tablet is only meant for work. I have an office space where I sell Medicare, then I record. So you have to get to a point where you are not distracted 24/7. Create an environment for yourself. That's very important. The other thing is write down what you want to accomplish every single day. If you don't write things down, it's not going to happen. And then when you write it down, make sure you're taking action on those set activities. So throughout the day, look at your progress, look at what you haven't done yet, and then go after it. Here's a good example of something I've been working on. I'm still trying to get better. I write a goal of reading 15 to 20 minutes a day. Now, I have a couple breaks throughout the day with my work, and I can take that time to just reset and relax. So what I try to do during those 15-minute breaks is read for 10 minutes. Might not be a lot, but if I spend the time doing that, it's going to add up to 15, 20 minutes in a day. Or let's just say I just read 10 minutes during my 2 breaks, and then I read another 5, 10 minutes at night. I've accomplished my goal. So look at those blocks of time where you're resting and use that time to accomplish the goals you have written down. Some of them may take 10, 15 minutes to get done. But if you do that, you're staying focused and you're accomplishing things. You feel better as a man. I also have this daily tracker where I have to spend 10 minutes a day watching finances. So what I do in my breaks is I go to the website, I start playing it while I'm making lunch or I'm making a quick snack and I'm watching that content. And eventually it gets to a point where I say, okay, I've watched 10 minutes. I've hit my goal. Now, some of this is going to require sacrifice. You can't just expect success to happen out of nowhere. You're going to have to sacrifice some weekends to work on your craft. Be okay with working late nights. Be okay with grinding and working a lot of hours, because if you put in the time and you don't observe what's going on around you, then you're going to accomplish more. The main focuses for me right now is one, my wife is pregnant. She's due in April. I'm very excited about that, to have our first child. So between now and April is just locking into my purpose. I'm turning 34 in October, so I want to make sure I keep building momentum and ending 33 on a high note. Another thing I want to make sure I do is just stay in the gym, keep working out, taking care of myself, being consistent with my sales, making sure that I hit certain goals in the enrollment season between October 15th and December 7th, because that's like our Super Bowl when it comes to performance. If we do really well, obviously we make a lot of income. It's a very important time for me in my life. So whatever your focus is, make sure you prioritize those things. So look at your next 3 months and go, okay, where do I want to be? Where do I want to end up? And make sure you get to work today. If you have a birthday coming up just like me, make sure you end the year on a high note for yourself. That way you have momentum and you're looking forward to the next chapter of your life. And it's very critical to stay focused because there's a lot of distractions, especially with politics. So make sure, if you have something you care about, stop watching debates, stop scrolling on Twitter, stop being an observer, and lock in. I'm not saying you have to live under a rock and not keep up with what's going on around you. But what I am saying is, don't indulge too much. Make sure that you're being as productive as possible, that you're walking your purpose, and that you're functioning as the man that you're supposed to be. That is very important. That should be your main priority. Hope you guys enjoyed this video today. I'd love to hear your thoughts on how you're functioning as a better man and how you're actually working on your focus so you can live out your purpose. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.